Newsfirst, Newsline.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to another edition of Newsline. Today we're joining you on a very, very special day. It's International Women's Day. So from our entire network here at Newsfirst, we wish all the hardworking women out there who strive to make life better for everyone, not only here in Sri Lanka but across the world, a very, very happy International Women's Day. And of course, given the significance of the day, we have dedicated this day to speak and discuss and hopefully influence people in power, people who can make a difference, make a change in this country on issues surrounding specifically women. Now, it's a known fact that women have been a disadvantaged group in society from centuries ago, and this has spilled over from generation to generation. But finally, women are standing up, people are standing up, people are realizing what reality is, and they are making change. And to discuss these changes that are happening, and is it happening fast enough? How can we expedite this process? We've got with us here today Seroshi Nandasiri. She is the chair and founder of the Women's International Foundation. A very good evening and welcome to the show.
Hi there.
Well, Seroshi, let's start off with one question that really always bogs my mind. So every year, International Women's Day is a commercial event. We get promotions, it's almost like Valentine's Day. We get promotions, there are competitions, people are advertising. There are massive events that are being organized saying we're empowering women. There are discussions, dialogues, lectures, keynote addresses. But this happens every year. Is this achieving what the International Women's Day is supposed to achieve?
Very good question. Let me start off with this. Every day is a Women's Day. Every day is dedicated to women. There is no, we don't need one, dedicated day just for women, because every day, in my perspective, every day is a day to celebrate women. But why do we need a dedicated day? Now, today's theme on this International Women's Day, the theme is achieving gender equality today to achieve sustainable development tomorrow. So, what is gender equality? What is gender, first of all? So many people talk about gender equality, but a lot of people don't know what gender is. Charlene, we are given a script, right? When we are born, we are given a script. And that script says, if you are a man, your role is this. You behave like this. Activities that you're supposed to do, and these are your attributes. Same thing goes for a woman. And they only recognize two genders. Either you are a man, either you are a woman. No middle grounds, right? And no sooner you are in this world, you are given that script. So from day one, right, you are supposed to adhere to that script. So you are given like pink for girls, the dresses, right?
Blue for boys.
Blue for boys, even the Kinder Joy, right? The toys, everything is made according to these gender norms. There is a socialization process to basically ensure that these gender norms are really inculcated into the society. So that is the problem. So if a woman goes against the script, right? Okay, you are given a role. Now in that particular role, right, there is something called division of labor, right? So they say, right, these are being created by society. So society says, if you're a man, you are supposed to be leading in terms of politics and all the other respects. So you are given a job,
a role,
man's job, politics, leadership, you're given, right? In the script, it's in the script. Then you are supposed to earn for the family. One of your fundamental thing is you have to contribute to the economy. But if you are a woman, they have given you three burdens, three work. We call it triple burden of work. You have to take care of the family. It's given, written. So household chores are yours. Cleaning, cooking, you name it. Kids their education, all that is yours. Then your social work. If you have a temple, preparing the, all the alms giving and all that is your responsibility. If there is a funeral, wedding, who goes? You might not go, but your mom would, your sisters would. So they have to like basically go and take care of these social bonds as well. That's one of their responsibilities, gender roles. Then, if time permits, participate in the economic activity as well. So women, right, they carry triple burden of work. So as a result of that, women have something called time poverty. They don't have much time. So that is one of the hindrance factors why you don't see a lot of women coming into the world of work. A lot of people, why they are not contributing to the economy is because of this time poverty, because they carry three burdens, right? So I was basically telling you about these triple burden and how the gender, how they divide these roles, right? So they are given to you, those roles. And then they also tell you how you should behave. Oh my God, you can't like, show off your legs. You can't be like, without sleeves, right?
You have to sit proper.
You have to sit prim and proper, right? All that is there. They tell you how you should behave. You can't be, smiling with all your teeth out. You can't. You can't be, So your all that, your behavior, your attributes, you have to be like, if you're a boy, you can't cry. You are not supposed to cry. If you're a boy, you have to be like, like a mature person, right? And then they expect men to be like, sort of like very authoritative, to an extent violent also. If someone hits you,
you got to hit back.
Right? So that is given as part of your script, right? So because of all of these things, right, there is a huge problem that is being created when the roles, when the gender roles evolve, when the communities evolve, when the societies evolve, there is a disparity, right? So if you go against, if you're a woman, if you're going against people like us, rebellious, we go against, right? So then what happens is they paste labels on us, right? We have labels, they label us.
Liberals.
No, they yeah.
That's one of them. That's one of them.
That's one of
better
them.
labels.
Yeah, that's one of the better labels. Now, if I take work home, right? Let's say I'm a career woman. I take work home, right? Compare me with another man, right? Similar positions. So the man takes the work home, and the wife would, facilitate, even give him like a cup of tea, all that. And he's labeled a dedicated, hardworking, oh my God, man. Husband, man, whatever. If a woman takes work home, people, okay, she can't attend to the kids, she can't attend to the husband, she's on her own, she has to make her own coffee. No one is going to make coffee for her, right? And then you can't sometimes you can't, right, put the child to the bed. So then if this happens, prolongs, people would say, oh, what a selfish woman she is. Is she a mom? Is she calling herself a mom? You get what I'm saying? There goes another label. If we dress nice, right, people would say, oh my God, vanity, show off. That woman is a show off, right? Those are labels. So these labels really prevent women from moving forward, from coming out from the shell. So what do we need to do about these things? We need to create awareness in the society. People don't know what gender is. People really don't know what make these gender terms, right? People don't know that, okay, society has made a script and we are like, just following those things. People don't know that. So because people don't know, they are opposing. There is no enough awareness that is being created among the communities. So as a result of that, why a Women's Day is important is that we can create this awareness. That's what we are doing here. So it's a dedicated day to talk about women, these problems. Now, this year, one of the sub-themes is break the biases, break the barriers. Right? We need to break these labels for women because these labels form part of your glass ceiling. They are the glass ceiling, right? So you know what glass ceiling is? When you put like a bee inside a small container.
That's as far as they can go.
Yeah. The bee thinks, right, you know,
That's
cover
the
it. Sky is there. He's trying to go out, but can't. Something is preventing. That's a glass ceiling, right? So he's trying to break, but can't break. And the bee thinks, okay, I'm gonna like, can't go. I'm gonna like be happy with what I have. That's exactly the plight of women. Right? We don't know what is really preventing us from going out there. Those are those labels, right? Now, if a woman is coming forward, talking, right? Even I'm talking to you today. Maybe there are people who can't tolerate my ideology, can't take my free thinking, right? So then what those people do is they create fake profiles. They go on my Facebook or, you know, your Facebook or MTV's Facebook and would like write all sort of, you know, bad stuff in filth about me. So I'm of course a human, right? So I get discouraged. Oh my God, right? I feel like that. So those are the labels. Those are bullying. Those kind of stuff pull us back. So we really need a day, dedicated day, where space is given to talk about these problems and create awareness. Through awareness, you create understanding. When people understand, it's really easy to make change. And change does not happen external. It has to happen internal. So we have to, within us, we need to like really think, oh my God, yeah, these are really true things, right? And we need to pick ourselves up and really drive these things forward, right? We can't like fall down. You can fall down. Every time you fall down, you have to pick yourself up and run even faster. That's what you need to do. So answer to you is, this day is very important simply because we can actually create that awareness and understanding, because that's one of the ways in which we can break these barriers. And one more thing, we can't talk about women without talking about men. One of the core mistakes that the empowerment movements, you are asking me, okay, there is nothing that has been happened so far. I agree with you 100%. 100%. Reason is, we have been empowering, we have been completely negating, forgetting about men. I mean, they're a critical part. Why are we doing all of these things? For our family, no? For our family. We need to have a beautiful family. We need to like contribute to the society, to the country and to the world, right? Sustain our development. So when we are talking about all of these things, we have basically gone on empowering women, telling them, oh my God, you don't have to do this, that, and, you know, come forward, all that. And in one spectrum, women have been continuously empowered. They are coming to the front. If you look at the millennials, the Gen Z, they are really quite, you know, they are forward. They're quite forward, right? Very good, right? But we have forgotten men, right? And we have not educated men enough, right? So that they have lagged behind. So still those concepts, the norms, everything to a great extent prevail within them. And women have evolved to a great extent. So there is a disparity, right? Because of this disparity, there is a collision in the families. And did you know that today, you're a lawyer, right? About 400 plus, 400 plus divorce cases are happening in Sri Lanka, 400 per day plus. Why is that? That simply tells us our family, the crust of our society.
The basic unit of society.
Exactly. That's collapsing. That's not sustainable development. That is definitely not sustainable development. So we have not done a holistic empowerment. Holistic empowerment includes men as well. So you have to include men within this women's empowerment spectrum and talk to them as well, because there is no journey without them. They're part of the whole equation, right? And there is something called new masculinities, right? Those days they say, you can't cry, men don't cry. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Yeah, you're being taught, right? Men can't cry, right? Don't cry like a girl, right? Like a woman. All that is there now. You're also being penalized in this. These gender norms, even the men are being penalized so severely. I mean, you can cry. Who cares? It's for you, right? So women, if they don't want to cry. Now, in a funeral, if a woman doesn't cry in the rural parts, not in the posh Colombo area, but in the rural areas, if you don't cry as a woman, husband dies, father dies, whoever dies, you don't cry, oh my God, that woman didn't even cry.
Heartless.
Heartless woman, ruthless woman. Again a label, right? So that's one of the reasons why I think that this whole empowerment has not been successful. There is no holistic approach, and it's not a coordinated approach as well. Also, another aspect is there is very limited amount. Now I represent an organization, Women's International Foundation. What we can do as an organization, there is a very limited scope.
So what you can do as an organization to empower women or to progress these ideas, to put it into society, I think we've come to a very very important point in our conversation about empowerment, and like you quite rightly said, a lot of these events, now that you told me, when I look at these events, there were a lot of women there to be empowered, of course, but very little, if not no men at all at many of these events that were held. But it's quite important, like you said, because men are also part of the equation. We'll get back to the discussion after a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Newsline.
Newsfirst, Newsline.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
TV1 රැස්වීදෙන ජීවිතේ.
Women take to the streets on Women's Day. Eateries shut down due to shortage of gas cylinders.
ගෙදර පාවිච්චි කරන එක තමයි ගෙනලා අපි වැඩ කරන්නේ. දැන් අපි 3-4 දිනවල රස්සාවක් නැහැ. දර ලිප්පු තමයි වැඩ කරන්නේ. හරි අමාරු.
As government love the exchange rate to float, why has an economic council been established by the president? Finance minister to visit India again. When will the queues for diesel end? National Freedom Front says all MPs have resigned from government positions. Russia warns of stopping gas supplies to Germany.
TV1 රැස්වීදෙන ජීවිතේ.
Newsfirst, Newsline.
Hello there and welcome back. You're watching Newsline Live. We're in discussion with the chair and founder of the Women's International Foundation, Seroshi. We were discussing about empowering men and women equally. I'd like to take your attention to a little bit of a different area right now because we talk a lot, especially in Sri Lanka. We talk more than really implementing what we speak about. Let's take some basic issues that women have been facing and the discussion that have surrounded this for quite a long time. For example, the MMDA regarding rights of women, rights of children more than women. And then there is also the period poverty issue that Sri Lankans are facing. Then there is the microfinancing issues that Sri Lankan women are facing. Then there is the issue of women being discriminated whenever they go to any sort of authority, when they seek some sort of justice from institutions that are supposed to dispose justice. They are not getting it. They're being discriminated there. So all of these matters have been, you know, in discussion. We've been discussing about these matters. For example, very simple example, take the MMDA. We would have been talking about that for the past 30 years or so. But no progress whatsoever. Is there any way that, you know, we can bring a catalyst into this so that things can change faster? We can see what the negative results of letting an issue rot for an extended period of time. Best example being the Sri Lankan economy. Now we're in dire straits. We were in dire straits for quite a long time, but now it's unbearable, and the difference is being felt every month. So just like the economy, if these issues too, like you said, 400 plus divorces a day, if these issues remain unaddressed, we're just going to reach another breaking point, and what more? We'll have to face an economic crisis, and on top of that, a social crisis as well.
Yeah, right. There is progress made. I'm not saying there is no progress made. If you look at the gender index, Sri Lanka, okay, gender index, there are like about 5 areas if you couple health together. So you have health, you have literacy, which is education, you have political participation, which is leadership, then you have economic participation. If you take, there are 5 areas, but if you really categorize, it's about 4 areas. Out of the 4 areas, Sri Lanka is doing pretty well in 2 areas. One is education. Our literacy among women is quite high. Second one is our health, nutrition, you know, the child, the mortality rate and all of that. Pretty good. So meaning we have invested. We have invested as a government, as the society, as people of the society. We have invested in empowering women, right, to a great extent. Now, when you invest in something, what do you expect?
Return on your investment.
Where's the return? Where does the return come in terms of women going into decision-making positions, leadership positions, especially in terms of countries like this? If you really want to make real change, macro level leadership matters a lot. But how many people are women in the macro level leadership positions whose decisions will affect the fabric of the entire country? Very handful, very few, right? The other aspect is women's economic participation. We say 1 to 3, right? We have 52% women represented in the population, but out of that, only 1 in 3 women, that's about 33-35%, only actively participate in the world of work. It's like, what's the most important, what's the biggest problem in this world? That is, we have scarce resources, and we utilize these scarce resources to fulfill our unlimited needs and wants. That's the biggest problem in the world. That's the biggest problem, right? Living means we are trying to fulfill that, you know, that equation, right? So in that equation, right, one of your biggest crucial vital resource is human resource. And in your human resource, 52% are women. And out of that, 35% are only contributing, 65% are at home. Is your economy efficient? Is your economy, is your economy productive? Will this economy be wow? No, it won't be, right? So why do you think that our women don't come into the world of work? Now there are 2 ways, about 2 ways roughly, in which women can contribute to the world of work. One is as a means of employment. They can go and work in some place. The other form is entrepreneurship, right? So if you go into the employment side, we still have problems like harassment. we still have problems like discrimination, especially when you are pregnant, you are not even hired, right? They look at, in the corporate world, this is changing positively. If you're a pregnant mom, when your bosses see you, oh my God, she's gonna like not be there for a long period. That's the attitude. Not even men, even women. They feel the same way, right? So if that is the case, there is clear discrimination. If a woman feels discriminated, right? If a woman feels harassed, it could be mental.
පිරිසිදු ජලබිදකට හඬා වැටුණු වවුනියාව වෙංගල චෙට්ටිකුළුම ක්‍රිස්තෝව කුලම් ගම්මානී ජනතාවට ගම්මැද්දෙන් ජල පෙරණ පද්ධතියක් ලබා දුන් වගයි. ගම්මැද්ද රට නගන ජන පවුර.
It could be any sort, any sort. It's a fundamental rights violation. It's a human rights violation. People don't know this. It's a human rights violation, right? So you can take serious action against those, right? In Sri Lanka, people don't know about it, but in other countries, there is a zero tolerance policy. Very strong legal system to protect women's rights. But that is not present. You would know better than me that it's not present. And also we have a pay gap. Equal levels, what a man gets and what a woman earns, there is a parity. So there is a pay gap. So a lot of problems, hindrance factors are there in terms of the employment category as well. Also, if you look at entrepreneurship, one of the biggest, in my perspective, one of the biggest problems that our women face is the care problem. Why women don't go into even to employment, even to entrepreneurship, is the care problem. Now, when you have kids, I told you about those gender terms. No? You are given a script, and you are given 3 roles to perform, triple burden of work. So one of those work is family, right? So Sri Lanka, so we have kids to look after. That's one, right? When kids are like around 10, 12, moms can go to work. But now there is another thing, macroeconomic factor coming in. Our population is aging. We have an aging population, meaning there is nobody to take care of. There are a lot of people. Older generation is large, and there is nobody to take care of them. So that responsibility also falls on the shoulders of the woman. So you are thinking of going to work after your kids are like 10 or 12 or whatever, but then to see your parents are getting, you have to basically care for them as well. So that caring role evolves. As a result of that, our women become time poor, right? Time poverty plays a huge role. And also, if you look at our TV advertisements, right? Media is putting a lot of advertisements. I'm a marketer, so we love that. Usually to do an advertisement, you do research. So what is represented in the TV ads is what is really happening in the society. So if you really look at some of these commercials, you would see that who is cooking in those ads, like those, soap brands and detergents and noodles and food items and all those advertisements. If you take, who is cooking?
The woman.
Only the mother, right? Who is in the who is seated at the table?
A man.
Man, the kids, everybody. They are waiting to enjoy the meal while she's cooking and serving. Who is cleaning?
The mother.
Who is looking after who is bathing and pampering the kids? Mom. So these ads also, this is a vicious cycle. So those research tells advertisers to, okay, this is how it is. So they advertise, right? And they put the creatives out. And then those creatives also impact they contribute towards these gender norms, right? So it's a vicious cycle.
And
this
it
goes on.
reinforces the norm.
Exactly. And look at some of those, you have these, what do you call those belts? You have prime belts and you have teledramas, right? like really popular teledramas. Every time I see those teledramas, there are like women, and that woman always has a broom in her hand, or like, you know, she's either, you know, chopping something, cooking something. So that really goes into the minds of the people, and that cements those gender norms. So it's a sort of a, what do you call it, vicious cycle.
Seroshi, it's quite an interesting conversation. However, we've reached the end of it. Of course, I wish we had more time. But of course, by what you've said so long, two of the main issues that at least I understood, and I'm pretty sure the general public too got it, was the fact that although we've been empowering women, we've not been educating men enough, and we need to look into that aspect as well. And also the fact that there is this certificate or this script that we've been given since we were children. And there is a lot of unlearning, not learning, but unlearning that we need to do if we are to create a sustainable society, if we are to create gender equality, and if we are to respect each and every human equally, despite of them being man or woman.
Absolutely. And please don't put labels on women. That's the last thing. That's the worst thing, right? Last thing you should do, worst thing that you can do to a woman.
I think you should put labels on anyone, despite them being a man or a woman.
Exactly. Men, very less, right?
Relatively.
But women, it's so bad. Please don't do that. Please. That's the worst thing that you can do to a woman. And also, one last message to our women: you have to be economically independent. If you look at if you analyze all the problems women are facing, one thing that surfaces, the crust of the matter is the economic aspect. So if you are economically independent, other problems are not really problems. They can be sorted, right? So strive for your economic independence. It's not easy. It's not easy. With your time poverty, with your labels, with your triple burden of work, you need to figure out what is your best mode, what is your best method. Carve it out, strive for it, find it, right? Do a soul search, do like a search around, find it out, right? If you can find it out and fix your financial independence, that is something that will help you break the glass ceiling.
Thank you very much, Seroshi, the chair and founder of Women's International Foundation, for joining us on this very special day and, of course, delivering an important message to all men and women out there on this very important day. Thank you very much to all our viewers out there for tuning in to another episode of Newsline. Until we meet again, take care and God bless.